Welcome. For some of you, this might be your first exposure to Tableau. For some of you, you might have seen Tableau quite a bit. But today, I want you to look at Tableau through a different lens, the eyes of a designer. Yeah. So, we are going to take the role of a person who is designing a BI tool and then see what choices does this designer have and then what did Tableau's designer choose. The power of this approach is first we realize for every decision that has been taken, there were a set of choices available, and then one decision or one of those choices was taken for certain reasons and stuff, constraints. So this will first liberate you from memorizing rules or experiencing frustration when things don't work in a certain way. Every tool designer faces a number of choices as well as a number of constraints. So he then chooses based on his target audience, based on his experience and wisdom. So that's what. So in my opinion, having been in this area of analytics for quite a while, Tableau's designers have chosen a lot of wise decisions that favor the speed and the productivity of a typical non-technical user. The tools that I've seen before Tableau, they all favored a typical IT technical audience, a person like me, not a person like you typically, right? Whereas Tableau was the first tool that I've seen where a lot of decisions were done with the view to actually making it easy for a typical non-technical user. That's where Tableau excels. So rather than introducing here is what Tableau has done, rule number 1 2 3 or feature number 1 2 3, here I want you to go through this journey. The idea of going through this journey, it will enrich you. This is what I feel. So let's get started. So the first step, you would have watched the connect to Excel video just to understand how things works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag and drop. Yeah. So this was the first decision Tableau's designers have to take. So how do we allow people to connect to, let's say, take simple example, the Excel file, right? So there are two choices they have given. So one is the traditional choice. You go select Excel and then it gives you the file explorer in case of Windows. In case of Mac, here it is a finder window. I select the right file and then it opens it for me. So this is one choice. What other choice do we have? So and then I undo. Yeah. So and I go back to the start page. So here is where we started. So the other choice is most of us are used to, so we can quickly locate the files. When we are working in a set of files, we have this open in our Windows Explorer, right? So here you can see the file thing is it's going from my Mac directory to Dropbox to this project folder thinking in Tableau and then student files and all that, right? So it's a long path to select. Instead of this, so what if I drag and drop? So this is the second possibility. So there were two choices. One is the traditional choice, present a menu, click one by one, and then go to the file, locate it. The problem with that choice is the second time, at least Tableau has a nice tool. If I, so I will show it to you. So if I just go to data, new data source again, and click on Excel, it navigates back to the same folder, the same set of folders. Whereas many of the tools that I've seen, they don't even remember what was the last folder. So this was a good thing. But even then, if I want to now open in another folder, I have to go navigate, which is painful. Whereas we all are much more comfortable navigating through our Windows Explorer or Finder much faster. That's where I see this drag and drop as a very powerful feature. And then now you have two sheets. So I have employee sheet, I have a department head sheet, right? So the nice thing about Tableau is, again, it allows you to preview, so a typical user, so I'm here, I may not remember what this is. I might be getting this data from somebody else. So giving this quick view data gives me a sneak peek. It's not a full-fledged editor. It doesn't allow me to do much of operations. But then it just gives me an overview, a typical table overview, right? The first row is the headers and then like a typical Excel sheet. The nice thing is this view is what you will get whether you're connecting to Excel sheet, CSV, relational databases, online database, it doesn't matter. A very familiar Excel type of a spreadsheet view. And then all I need to do is just double click So this was the one choice. So just double click because this is the fastest. What other choices? So I could actually drag and drop. So the moment I drag it, it gives you this nice round little box, sorry, this rectangular box saying drag sheets here. I dragged it. So one of the other things that I want you to also notice is play the role of a detective. Each time I'm doing something, notice what Tableau is really doing. What does the detective really do? He is noticing every little change that's happening. So let me undo. So look at what's happening. So let's undo even this, right? So this is where the original thing was. So I go back and then I brought it here, right? So first the sheet name, the file name is employee master. Look at this connection name. This is editable, but Tableau has already given this as a name. Very nice. I mean, many tools don't do this. We have to give a name, right? And then, so look at this. I am gonna double click on employees, and then it is changed the database name. So now employee master is in bracket, which is the file name, and the sheet is in basically main. So that tells us, oh, this is employees sheet from employee master, right? So what if I go back and then just double click on department head? Look at what it is doing. The nice thing. The other nice thing it is doing is, so in addition to displaying this part we don't understand yet, leave it for now as a beginner. Just look at this. This again gives us the table view that we are very familiar with. Yeah, so this window will become much more useful as we tread advanced territories, but for now this is what it is. And then look at these nice buttons, back and forward, right? So I can go back, I can go forward. As a new user, you feel much more at home because you can keep going back and forward without worrying about, what if I make a mistake? If you make a mistake, no problem, go back. Many tools support going back, but many tools properly don't support going forward. This is where I see, Tableau as a nice tool. So let me double click on employees. Now we got employees. So there is some blue being displayed here. The nice thing about Tableau is it uses two colors very consistently throughout the UI. You can see blue is all over the place, and then you see these green. For now, just understand blue means text data and green means numerical data. Yeah, so I will explain the concept a little bit later on in more detail, but for now this is enough for you. So now I can go to, this is sheet 1. So now what has happened is, now we see suddenly a lot of different sections or places in this. This is what I would call your main area in Tableau. When we are developing any views, whether it is reports, dashboard, this is where we are gonna spend most of our time. In other words, this is like, so if you go to Subway, for example, right? So in front of you, they lay out all the ingredients, everything is in front of you. And then the person has flat area where he is laying out the bread, adding these ingredients and stuff. This is where this sandwich would be made. This is where we are going to drag and drop all of these things. This is where the standard prepared ingredients are available. Yeah. So this is like your potatoes, cucumber and all of that. And they are put in two different compartments here. Your job as a Tableau artist or a sandwich artist is to, take some of these ingredients, put them in different areas here, and then so that it gets different color, different smell, So I'm just drawing a parallel with a Subway sandwich artist and then budding Tableau artist, that you're going to be. Yeah. So that is the thing. So this is where this whole area, if you see this area, this is the area where the chart would be made. Pretty much the chart would be drawn here. This is what is called the canvas. And then these are kind of the control areas which are available within the chart window itself. This is where the ingredients are stored. And then the area that we came from, this is, if you click on the data source, you will get it. This is like the kitchen, So you go back to the kitchen if you have to do some extensive preparation again. Otherwise, you stay within the prepared list of ingredients. So now here again, Tableau faced a choice. So if you look at the Excel itself, so these are the names, right? So employee name, number, name, role. Tableau could have taken all of these and then listed them in an alphabetical order. In fact, this is what pivot tables do. So for those of you who are familiar with pivot table, let me just create a pivot table. So if you see pivot table, this is what it is doing. It has taken the employee number, name, role, salary in the same order. It's listing it here. Yeah, so it has not even sorted it alphabetically. So if you want to really go find something, this becomes a little bit more difficult. Here we are talking about a few fields, but in real world databases we are talking about 50, sometimes even 100 to 200 fields. So this becomes much more difficult. Yeah, so what Tableau has done, compare this to what Tableau has done. Tableau has broken it into two areas. One it is calling dimension, one it is calling measures. So let's get into the technical definition of what dimension and measures are, but just recognize what's happening. As I've told you, these screens are there telling you these are numbers, and looking at this we know age and salary. And then the rest of all, they seem to be text, and then there's some calendar icon here, join date, and then there is some even a world globe kind of icon, and a lot of different icons going on. But at a high level, we can see that these are nothing but numbers. These are nothing but different types of text, and date is here. Yeah, I will provide a link to a detailed video that will give you the concept of dimension and measure in a very short time. Yeah, so that's what Tableau has done. So what's the benefit of this? As a designer, if you have to do this, will you choose this approach? Will you choose this approach, or will you choose this approach but sort things alphabetically, right? So what will you do? Because for example, I think you can sort things here. So this is a choice. So the Excel gives you this choice: sort in data source order or sort in A to Z. Yeah. So there were three choices available. So what are the benefits? If you reflect on this, sort in data source order has the advantage that somebody who has arranged things in a meaningful way, it is coming in that way. So it is powerful, it is useful. Sorting in alphabetical way, it allows us to quickly find it. Just scrolling down and up, we will be able to find it. So what Tableau has done is it split these two things, because the numbers are the most important things. So whenever we are talking about reporting, BI analytics, our focus is on numbers. The word KPI, key performance indicator, which is a number, right? The word metrics, which is a number. So we are interested in numbers. So Tableau has taken numbers and then put them out separately so that we can quickly take a look at this, right? So the way to think about Tableau is you start the reporting by focusing on a number, and then you use the text to provide context. So let me illustrate. For example, I want to understand salary. All I have to do, start experiencing the power of double click in Tableau here. Double click. So I got a bar chart. No questions asked. What chart you want? Do you want a text or table? Nothing. So I come over here, rest my mouse here, what's called the hover over, and I see what this value is. Oh, 196,000. So how does this really break up or go down into the department level? So I go to department, I just double click on department. Look at how beautiful this is. All I did was I started with salary, double clicked and gave me a bar chart. I then double clicked on department, it gave me the department thing. Yeah. So and then I can go to this icon, which is called show mark labels. Typically Tableau hides the mark labels because we don't want to be reading every number, but in this case let's just turn it on because we are new to Tableau. Yeah. So the same numbers are available here also. You can hover over. This is called the tooltip. Yeah. The nice thing about is the tooltip is built for you. You can hover over in the smallest one, biggest one. You don't have to move your eyes down and up to, the tooltip tells you what is there, what is encoded, right? Here, for example, I'm focusing. If I'm here, sales is easy to read, but rather than moving my eyes up all the way here, the tooltip just tells me what that information. So there's a lot of thought and concern given by Tableau designers about your eye movement. Even eye movement, they don't want you to unnecessarily move your eyes. They don't want you to waste operation. Just double click. And then for most of us, we don't understand the world of visualization. In your case, I've already introduced you to the framework of 5 key messages, and then you can see typically what you start off in the chart framework of 5 messages is comparison, and the best chart for doing comparison is bar chart, which is what Tableau has built for us without us asking. And think about this, you are a person who does not know this visualization concept. You do not know what is the best chart. All you're doing is just double clicking, and then Tableau is building this nice thing for you. right? This is with respect to ranking, which is comparison. And then generally when you are doing comparison, we are interested in the top and the bottom performers. So it's a good practice always to sort. So look at the sorting here. So there are two icons. This is telling you big to small. The nice icon tells you, and then this icon tells you it's the reverse, small to big, right? So if I hover over this, what it is doing is, this is called one click sort. You don't have to decide how to sort, what to sort. For any chart that is being displayed in the canvas area, you can just click on this one click chart. Tableau will choose the most sensible sort that is available. There are a number of algorithms used to determine what this is, and they've taken a good guess at it, and most of the time it works very nicely. Let's try it here, and then it has sorted it here. Yeah. So in some cases where it doesn't work, Tableau does provide option. This is where the other thing that I see with respect to the design of Tableau. For a new user, it allows you to settle very quickly, so I have just moved into this new home. Now I need to figure out where the bulb is, where the switches are, where the doors are. Everything is laid out in a quick way. But then as you gain experience, as you gain more power and control, you want to direct Tableau to your way. You want to make it work according to your taste. Tableau does provide a lot of these options. The nice thing is, they are not visible to a new user, unlike other tools where the options are all over the place. You have to click on many menus and then select 4 or 5 options. In Tableau, everything is a few clicks, at best one click, at worst maybe a few clicks. But as you gain power, you realize, oh, in every area it's like a gold mine. You dig, you can find more options, more controls. So far what we have been doing is, we have been looking at Tableau from the eyes of a designer, right? So, but also look at through like a detective or a new person in a new city, for example, right? The kids typically embody this mindfulness, right? So they are interested in every little detail. Just hover over this. So this is telling, this is swap rows and columns nicely, the picture, and then you just can go here. It is a new worksheet, and then there is a down arrow. You can click, and then it gives you even the keyboard shortcuts. The nice thing Tableau's designers have done, they've tried to adopt the best practices of Microsoft. Microsoft, has this menu bar, displays these keyboard shortcuts. Many things are done very nicely. They've taken one of the best programs, which is Excel, and they've tried to use the same terminology, same concepts. So let me illustrate. For example, this is sheet 1. Where have you seen this before? Most likely in Excel, right? So I go to Excel. This is sheet 1, right? I click on sheet 2, right? Same here. I click sheet 2. Look at this, similarity plus, right? New sheet. So I come here. This is new sheet, new worksheet. But there are also 2 other pluses. So this is new dashboard, and this is new story. So there are 3 types of new sheets. The first one is the one that we are going to use default, which all looks the same. And then in Excel, how do you rename things, right? So I can right click and rename, which is what some people do. But the most intuitive thing is double click and then let's say test, So now I can double click here and then rename. The same thing works beautifully, right? And then if you go to Excel here, it gives you move or copy, which creates a option to make a copy. Tableau took that concept and simplified it even further. Duplicate. It's a very nice way. So I click on duplicate. The same chart is duplicated here. No changes done. Why is this beneficial? Because let's say I created something. This is nice. So I want to preserve this. Now I want to experiment. I want to drag and drop. Let's say something here. I've not introduced this to you, but I'm just encouraging exploration. Just drag and drop, see what it is doing, So that is what, this new sheet is for. The other nice thing about this is, if you look at duplicate, this is also using another term, duplicate, as a cross tab. What does cross tab mean? Let's see. Oh, this is our table. So this is one of the places where I feel Tableau probably did not choose simplicity, or so cross tab is new term for everybody, even to be when I encountered this first time. The familiar terms are table, and then for people like Excel users, Excel fan base, it is going to be pivot table. So this one is a table or pivot table. Both of these terms would have been better than cross tab. So what Tableau has done is it's like a cross table. You can put, for example, I can put something here. So it is, there is, something here, something on the column, something on the rows. That's the meaning of cross tab. Just a technical term, just get used to it. This is where I think Tableau probably did not do the right thing. Yeah. So that's your first introduction to Tableau. Yeah, just to sum it up, so what all did we do? So we went back. So how do we get out of this mode and restart from scratch? So go click here, right click, and then come down to close. This will close the data source. That means all the reports that we have developed along with this is gone. Just focus. So it is now telling me this is another nice thing. If you are going to make a mistake, intentionally or unintentionally, Tableau is thinking this is a mistake. You have taken the time to create some reports. Now you are going to close the data source. Maybe you are a new user, you don't understand what you are doing, or maybe you are an experienced user, but this has happened wrongly. The close button was clicked accidentally, right? So now Tableau is warning you, when you close the employee master data source, the following will happen. Sheets that use this data source will be deleted. Sheets and fields that use the data source as a secondary, some advanced stuff, but it is saying this, and then by default it is selected cancel. So we know what we are doing. Let's say okay, everything is gone. So now I want to introduce the last thing, or put your eyes back in focus on the last thing. This is the living room, or the sandwich making table that I told you, right? So if you just hover over this colorful icon, right, this shows you the start page. It's telling you it's command 2 or control 2 on Windows, right? I click here, the same icon will bring us back here. So I'm gonna now use keyboard shortcuts, command 2 back again. Yeah, so what is this page? This page is like a reception area, right? So first it gives you the recent files that you have worked in a visual way. So you can see which ones you have been working on. I've been working on a number of these files. If there are files that you want to always remember, and then this has a limited area, maybe 10-12 files. So you want to keep them pinned. This is a concept again that came from Excel, right? So pinning the workbook, this will move it to the beginning and it will always be there. It will not be deleted. You see something here which you do not want. For example, this is some work I did long back in Swiss. So I do not want this. So I can click on close. It's done, right? Here also you can go click on open a workbook, which is a Tableau file. It gives you options to connect to the data sources here. And then it also gives you some nice sample workbooks for inspiration, right? Typically it also displays the training and all of that if internet is connected. Now I've disconnected internet. And then it has this area called saved data sources. These are the data sources. If you use some data source very often, like our employee master, for example, so you can save a shortcut here so that all the changes you are doing, they can all be available. I'll show this to you also. So let's do it one more time. This time I'm going to use the conventional route, select employee master, and then just double click on employees, and then I went here, right? So what I can do right now is right click here and then choose this option, add to saved data sources. So look at what happens. So it is now giving me a window where I need to select where it will go. So this is stored in a place called Tableau data repository. In each of your computers, it is stored under your documents folder. So in Windows, I'll show you an easier way to navigate there. But for now, just let's accept all the defaults. The names are done very nicely. And then say OK. So now if I go to the start page by clicking here, now I am seeing my employee data master, right? So this allows me to quickly connect. So now how do I navigate to that file repository? So I click here file and then click at this repository location. This will open in Mac here a finder window. In your case of Windows, it is going to open a Windows Explorer where you could see. This is where Tableau's lot of default stuff, everything including preference log, everything would be saved. Yeah. So that's your first introduction to Tableau. So I've covered quite a bit of ground looking around Tableau from different aspects. In the next video, I'm gonna show you how to quickly develop a lot of charts, a bar chart, line chart, tables and a lot of different things very, very quickly in Tableau using DoubleClick as a mechanism.